So going back, since you guys couldn't hear us,
we gotta go back to the beginning.
What's up? What's up?
Replay. You gotta go back. You gotta go back to the beginning. Well, we got a whole store. If you're not on the wait list, make sure you get on the wait list for a birthday party. It'll be a virtual birthday party. The first exclusive email is going out today at 4:00. Get on the list, man. Let's get going. I want to see you at the party. Get in the room. That's the link right there on the screen. Now, how you go back to the regular?
Why are you touching things for no reason?
My bad.
All right. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. I am sorry you guys didn't hear. But for those of you who are joining in, come on in the room. If you have not signed up for the wait list for Antonio's Big 40 birthday celebration, make sure you join it. I'm going to keep this link on the screen. It is virtual. It's virtual. In order to attend, you must sign up on the wait list. All right. The first exclusive freebie for our wait list drops today. So if you want to get that freebie, make sure it's going to drop at 4:00. So if you join at 5:00, you might not get it.
The first exclusive email.
I just gave it away that it's a freebie. So let's get it.
All right. So what I want to say is that one of the things that I always thought growing up, and I'm talking high school and college, was that people who was doing real estate had a lot of money. And I always thought that, man, they out here buying these houses for all this money. They got all this cash saved up. I'm from Florida. So in Florida, a house costs $200,000-$300,000. So I'm like, man, they got it. But I would say it was about year 5 or year 6 in the real estate, we went to an event. And the event changed everything.
You did.
And at this event, it was a lending event. And they was talking about leveraging money. They was talking about giving out money, and it blew our mind.
It absolutely blew our mind because we were in the middle of our first flip, and it was literally flipping us all around. We didn't completely understand what funding was. We were scared to even get funding on that deal because of the unknown. And whenever we tell you that the reason why you're afraid is because you don't know enough, that's because that was what happened to us. We were fearful because we didn't know enough. We didn't understand enough. So everything that came our way, when hard money lenders came our way, when private money lenders came our way, we felt like it was a scam. We felt like it was some type of scheme because we didn't understand the power of money. We didn't understand how money works. And we didn't understand that we didn't have to use all of our cash to invest in real estate.
That's something to buy.
Okay.
2 things I want to say. The first thing I want to say is going to that event was not even our idea. Mm-hmm. It's all about who you're around. We had some friends that was going to the event, and they mentioned it to us. And it was like, I mean, maybe we can go and check it out, but it was nothing like we researched and was trying to seek out.
We had no idea that the event was even taking place.
No idea.
And that's the power of being a part of a community, being a part of a network. Because it was really just one friend at that time. And when we got there, it was another close friend that ended up being there. So we were like, I would say 3 Ps, but it was 4 of us at that point. It was 4 of us coming from Birmingham in Miami, and we don't know. And then three out of the 4 were actually from South Florida. So it was pretty amazing from a network standpoint, because we didn't know what was going on, but that conference itself literally changed our lives.
And the one thing I want to say is that, and it's gonna hurt, this gonna step on some people's toes, and you're not gonna want to hear it. But even though at that time we had about 12 rental properties, all right, I mean, free and clear, paid for, tenants in them. We still had our flip going on. I don't count that, but we had 12 rental properties at that time. And even though we had 12 rental properties, we were still financially, mentally poor because we didn't understand money. Mm-hmm. Like there is a possibility to have assets and still be financially illiterate and not understand how the people at the tip of the top use money, leverage money, and leverage other people.
And I know with hindsight being 2020, the conversations that we were having, I know they just wanted to laugh at us.
They
Like,
was laughing.
y'all are
They was
newbies,
laughing.
y'all are rookies.
I can,
And I can tell you this, we didn't feel like we were rookies. We didn't feel like we were newbies because we had at that point been investing. This was 2016. We had started investing in 2009. So in our eyes,
we was vets.
we were vets. We were vets in our circle.
In our circle, we were kings and queens.
We were vets in our circles. But when we stepped outside of our circle, it was like we had just started real estate. Like
Yes.
it was all, we were babies in the game. And it was such a humbling experience because, like I said, in our circle, we were the go-tos at that point. We had 12 properties. We had been in the game for what's that, 7 years
We
at
had
that
some
point.
education
We had
behind us.
education behind us. But when we walked in that room and we were looking for a lender to lend on $100,000, $150,000 project, and they said, maybe the lowest we lend on is $1 million. And we couldn't even wrap our brains around.
I still remember it, man. We had the cocktail parties on Friday night, and like listening to this man look me in my face and say, "We only lend $1 million," and I'm looking at this man like, "Bro, I just want 100,000." And at that time, it was like a lot of money to ask for 100,000. And this man literally like with a straight face, "We don't lend nothing less than $1 million." And I'm looking at Ashley. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all now. I left. I left the damn cocktail party because at that moment I realized that I ain't know shit. And I realized that I was playing a game and I didn't know the rules to the fucking game. And it hurt me. And Big Strong, like it literally hurt me to my core because I thought I was doing it, just to be honest with you. I thought I was doing it. And to have that man look at me and be like, let me get out of here. Now, I went to the Saturday event.
He did, but that's the good thing about having friends too, because I didn't leave. Me and my friends kept talking and we kept meeting people, but Antonio was deflated. And it was like, homie, pick it back up. He couldn't.
I couldn't.
He couldn't.
I could not because I was just crushed, ego crushed, spirit crushed. Everything about me was crushed at that moment because I thought I was doing so good.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go into the
All right. So one thing that we learned was we didn't have to invest in real estate with our own money. All right. There are lenders out here that want to invest in you, that want to invest with you, and want to make a return off of it. And when I say a return, one of the biggest problems that we had was we thought that if we add a lender to it, they were going to make too much money. And that was our biggest downfall when we first started, was trying to count someone else's pockets. So when I see people that try to count my pockets, I laugh at it right now because I understand that I didn't understand. And it was one of the things that stopped us from getting to the next level, because we worried about how much interest were they making, how many points were they making, why do I have to pay them points?
Why I gotta pay this shit?
Why do I have to pay the admin?
Well, be honest.
Why do I have to pay the doc prep fee?
Man, why they charging all this money, man?
Why are they charging it? But guess what? Somebody is willing to invest in you, and I'm just going to use this number for example. Somebody is willing to invest $200,000 in you when you don't even have true experience. And you want to complain when they are risking it all on you, little old you, who at that point got 12 properties, been in the game 7 years, and you think you a G.
Thank you, son.
12 free and clear properties.
Man, I don't need them. You don't need their money.
Your properties was too cheap. It wasn't worth anything. But total transparency. So we get so caught up in how much are they costing, how much does the fees cost, why do I have to pay it? The reason why you have to pay it is because you need to have some skin in the game. All right. The other reason why you have to pay it is it's not even your money to begin with. Like, if you don't have that $200,000 and someone else, that you gotta pay it. All right.
And I'm gonna try to word this before we gotta get going on. We've been talking a lot. We 20 minutes in, I ain't got into it yet. But the thing that I'm gonna try to word the best of my ability. But what broke the curse, I ain't gonna say the curse, but what broke our mold, what broke our mindset was if you did a deal and let's say they make $10,000, let's just say you make $10,000. What if you don't do the deal and you don't make no money? Who are you hurting?
Yourself.
So like you gonna not make money because you don't want somebody else to make money. But if you don't do the deal, you still not gonna make money. So you're in the same damn position. And I know I'm talking a little rough day, but this is one of the things that's near and dear to me because I wish I would have listened to people trying to tell me this early on. But I didn't because of my upbringing, because of my background, because I didn't believe in leverage, I didn't believe in credit. Cash was king. If you ain't got the cash, you can't buy it.
You shouldn't be buying it.
You shouldn't be buying it. Yeah, that's just how I was raised. And I don't want to take you 6-7 years to break that when you could just listen and follow the blueprint and escalate or expedite your learning curve and your portfolio building and your money just because you listen compared to me who didn't listen.
Absolutely.
All right, go back.
All right. So we're gonna jump in. I see y'all signing up for the birthday bundle, not the birthday bundle, the birthday wait list. I see you coming in. So shout outs to everyone who has signed up. I got Tawanda Grisham. I got Clarissa Heath.
Let's go.
Tamika Gaines.
Let's go.
Ernest Patino. I got G. Rogers.
Let's go.
Jordan.
Let's go.
I got Nikki Waters. I got Carson. I got Brett Brown. I got Willie Davis, Latoya Manigo, and I got Joe Fears all in the last 11 minutes.
Let's go then.
Come on, let's go.
Get in the room, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So shout out to everybody who has just joined. Let's start with hard money. All right. So what is hard money? Hard money is a yes, Ms. Parker. You're in.
You already
signed up twice, Ms. Parker. You're in. All right. What is hard money? Hard money is financing that is not your traditional bank. All right. It is financing based on an asset, based on the asset at hand. All right. So when I say they're not your traditional banks, they're not your Wells Fargo, your Chase, your Bank of America. These are lenders who specialize in assets. They specialize in houses. They specialize in commercial. They specialize in new developments. That's what they specialize in. All right. And when they specialize in it, they're able to do it faster. They're able to get you in and out of a deal a lot faster than your traditional banks because your traditional banks don't do that all the time. They do those files here and there, but they're not as fluent as your hard money lenders. All right.
One of the biggest questions I know people ask is why do they call it hard money? All right. Hard money is more of an acronym. That just means it's asset-based lending, meaning they are taking into the account the actual asset more than your qualifications, more than what you got going on. The asset is what's going to drive them when it comes to their lending power. Is there some qualifications on your end? Yes, but they call it hard money because the asset, which is a hard asset of real estate, is what they are truly lending their money on.
Meaning they can touch it, they can feel it, they can walk up to it. All right. It's there. It's not like crypto where it's not there. It's literally a physical asset. All right. And then when it comes to hard money, there's no limit of deals that you can do. However, they are going to make sure that you can financially support the number of deals that you do. It's not going to report to your credit report. It's not going to affect your DTI. It's literally they're lending to your business entity. All right.
They can close quick. Most hard money lenders can close in 14 to 21 days. But you got to do your part to make it happen. Mm-hmm. I've had some close in as little as 10 days. So it can be done quick.
And let me say this: it's done quick It's done as soon as you get your documents in. So if you are missing 5 documents because you only put 2 documents out of the 7 that they asked for, and you're missing 5, don't expect your clock to start ticking until that 7th document is in. All right. So the
And
quick.
you said it, Ash, but I don't think they really
Okay. So when
understood what you said.
I'm gonna back it up.
Okay.
When you start the hard money process, all right, they may ask you for about 7 documents. Okay. When you submit your first 2 documents, which is typically your purchase and sell agreement and maybe your LLC doc, all right, maybe it's your operating agreement. When you send those 2, they're still waiting on your scope of work. They're still waiting on potentially their application, maybe your EIN letter, your certificate of good standings. All right. When you submit all of those items is when the clock begins. All right.
That's important.
So don't say this process took so long if you didn't submit all of your documents. When you submit your last document, that's when it goes to underwriting. That's when that process starts. That's when the appraisal gets ordered. Like when you submit all of your documents. Okay.
That's super important because don't slow poke getting your documents and then get mad at a hard money lender
because
when you
now
don't
you gotta
close
push
on time.
closing that. Yeah. So
it don't start until all your documents in. This ain't like traditional lending where they kind of still moving and waiting on you. It's not moving until all documents are in.
And Ash, why is that true? This is why it's true. Sometimes they don't link your LLC that you have. Say your LLC is in, I'm just gonna say the state of Alabama. Say your LLC is in the state of Alabama, but maybe Alabama is not where they actually lend. Maybe it's not a state that they lend to. So if that's the case, they don't know until you get all of your documents in to tell you we don't lend in that state. Maybe you need an LLC in Georgia. Maybe you need an LLC in Florida in order to do this deal. All right. So it's not until you get all your documents in when they even know if or if not, they can't work with you.
Yep. All right. So that's a nugget right there. Seasoning. A lot of what seasoning is the period between the day you buy the property and the day that you can refinance for full ARV. When you're doing fix and flip loans, there isn't much seasoning, but that's more of a long-term thing. But just understand if you're trying to refinance
or you're trying to burr,
asking your lender about the seasoning requirements is super important. All right. And this is not that class, but I wanted to drop that in there so that you don't get caught slipping on your birth process.
I see y'all signing up for the birthday wait list. Go ahead. I see y'all. All right.
Who you got?
All right. I got Nikki. I got Brianna. I got Stephanie Calhoun. I see y'all.
Okay. Thank y'all.
All right. So the main things that a hard money lender wants to know, they want to know, do you have a deal? And I'm going to talk about this do I have a deal section, but I'm going to first go through these and then I want to dive into the do I have a deal.
I don't even know if you got time to dive into these.
I got to have time. That's important.
All right.
Do you have a deal? Do you have money in the bank? Is your credit score above a 600? Do you have LLC documents? They do not want to lend to. They're not going to lend to your person, to yourself. Okay, they're only going to lend to a business entity. And do you have a scope of work? Do you know how much it's going to cost to make these repairs? And you're not just guessing, borrowing $200,000 from them. All right. The have a deal section is so important, y'all. And the reason why they have a deal section is so important is because I was having a conversation with a student the other day, and he went to Dennos Funding and he got a term sheet back. And when he got his term sheet back, he went ballistic, like insane, at the price that he was going to have to bring the closing. And it was because at the end of the day, he didn't have a deal. A hard money lender is only going to lend a certain amount towards your deal. A certain percentage. The hard money lender that we use, that we love to use, they lend 70%
of what?
The ARV, the after repair value. All right, up to 70%. And that's going to include the purchase and the rehab. In this particular loan, this particular purchase, I think the client was like 75% of the ARV, and it was causing them to bring another 13,500 more to closing. Now, let me say this: some hard money lenders will let you bring that extra 13,500 to closing. Some hard money lenders will not, because if you are already in that deep, it's a good chance that you're not going to make any money, which means you're going to have a hard time getting it off, which means they're going to potentially lose.
Yep.
Especially if you don't have any experience. All right. So it is important to have a deal. Just because it looks like a deal doesn't make it a deal. All right. Just because it feels like a deal does not make it a deal. Like, it needs to line up on paper as a deal, on a spreadsheet as a deal. All right.
Come here, guys.
Money in the bank. You need to have money in the bank, or your partner needs to have money in the bank. All right. Whoever your business partner is, you can have it in your personal, you can have it in your business. Just make sure that that business is a part of the LLC. If it's a different business than your LLC documents, and your personal, just make sure whoever it is, they're a part of that
You got to
operating
say that
agreement.
again because you confused the shit out of me.
All right. So let's say you got a partnership and it is two people.
Okay.
It's two people in this partnership.
Uh-huh.
The hard money lender will use both of your personal bank statements.
Okay.
They'll also use the entity statements.
Okay.
But say you have another entity that has money in the bank, and it's not the entity where you're trying to get this new loan for. That entity needs to also be a part of the operating agreement in order to use this statement.
Gotcha,
all right.
Gotcha,
So money can be
okay.
in multiple places, but it needs to make sense on the operating agreement. They need to be partners in the deal. All right.
One thing I'm gonna say about this money tip is they're not looking at how much money flows through your account.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
What they are looking at is how much money you have at the end of the statement cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're looking at.
So, rule of thumb: always check with your bank to see what is the last statement date of the month. All right, what is the last statement date? And make sure that at that last statement date, whatever you got to do to make sure there's money in that account, if you're getting ready to do a deal, you need to make sure there's money in that account. All right. And the reason why I say check with your bank is because every bank last statement day isn't the 30th or the 31st of the month. Some are on the 17th, some are on the 21st. And in order for you to meet that cutoff, in order for you to make sure you're consistently able to do deals, is you need to know when that cutoff is to make sure you always have money before that new statement comes. All right. The next thing is the credit above the 600. All right. They're not really picky with credit. The most important thing is, do you have a deal, which is why it's first. They put that before credit all the time. Now, do they want a 400 credit score? Absolutely not. All right. They want to know that you can manage credit, but you don't have to be you don't have to have the best credit in the world.
Agree. And I got that there. So the reason we put 600 because if you're below 600, you just automatically know you got to pay some more money.
It's gonna cost a little bit more to
can
do
you
the deal.
Can you still do the deal? Yes. Credit does not have to stop you from doing a deal. All right. But just know that it's gonna cost more money compared to somebody else who got a 700 credit score. All right. LLC documents. You need an operating agreement.
He sent your message.
You're going to need an operating agreement. You're going to need your articles of organization. You're going to need a certificate of good standings. You're going to need your EIN letter. All right. You're going to need all four of those documents. And remember, your loan process doesn't start until you submit all four of those documents.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then we need a scope. All right. What is the scope? A scope is a detailed outline on exactly what's being done to this property that the lender is lending on. So if you are changing out the cabinets and you're putting all new cabinets, they want to know, all right, I'm putting all new cabinets and this is how much it's going to cost. I'm painting the interior. This is how much it's gonna cost. I am painting the exterior. This is how much it's gonna cost. I am pressure washing the driveway. This is how much it's gonna cost. I am putting new vanities. I'm installing new vanities in the master bathroom. I'm putting new vanities in the hallway bathroom. How much it's gonna cost. All right. Line items on exactly what's being done to improve this property and how much will each line item cost.
Pro tip: your scope of work is as important as the property you buy. Because if your scope of work isn't right, that lender's going to frown upon your deal. All right. And in order to have a good scope of work, for the most part, you need to have a good contractor. So, as hard as you're trying to find a property, I need you to work just as hard to find a contractor.
Mhm.
And what the lender is doing with that scope of work is they're going to give that scope of work to an appraiser. And that appraiser is going to go out and he's going to look at your scope of work and he's going to give an estimated ARV based on your scope of work and what's selling around. All right. So understand that scope is extremely important. And this hurt a lot of people because they're not good in the scope section. They don't have a contractor yet.
All right. So pro tip, if you're not good in the scope of work section, go out, look at 5 properties this week, and literally just write down what are some things that you would do to improve it. All right, write down a list of things and then go and look and see how much they cost, how much does materials cost for those things. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So if you do five this week may be too much. Do 2 this week. Let's do small steps.
Small steps.
Small steps. Do 2 this week and then do 2 more next week. And then watch the difference from this 2 from this week and the 2 from next week. You gonna already know next week, okay, I know what I'm doing to the inside, I know what I'm doing to the outside, and everything else that's different from house to house would just be quick little line items to add. But you have to practice doing it. You have to practice knowing what those prices are because that's what's gonna make your deal a deal. All right.
If you've never done a deal before, you can't think like that. In order to be an active investor, you have to start thinking like an active investor. You have to start doing the things that active investors are doing.
Not talking investors.
Not
active.
just da. You have to make offers. You have to do scope of work. You got to go have conversations. Stop telling me what you want to do and start doing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And stop waiting until the right situation come or the money come or the house come. Start putting your mind frame on now that I am a investor. All right. Say it with me. Ashley, you say it too.
Big 40. Come on, big 40.
I am an investor. Even if I've never done a deal.
I am an investor.
I am an investor.
I am an investor.
This is the Denmark version. That's the proper version.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. All right. You want to add anything before we go?
Mm-mm.
All right. So we pretty much talked about this. They're concerned with the collateral. They're concerned with the project at hand. They want to know that what needs to be done actually does need to be done, which is why they send out the appraisal up front. That appraiser is looking at the scope of work you sent in, and they are verifying that the improvements that you said you're going to do is going to match up with what houses have sold in a 0.5-mile radius in the area. All right. So let's take this for example. Let's say that
are you going sidetrack? Before you go and say what you say.
No, I'm not. Let's say, for example, that the comps that you were looking at for your deal.
What are comps, Ashley?
I'm getting ready to get that.
What are comps?
You said ARV area. I knew that. So the comps that you're looking at, the houses that are compared to the house that you're trying to buy that have sold in the area, the comps that you're looking at, say you thought that it was going to be worth $200,000, but the finishes on that $200,000 on the houses that sold for $200,000 have hardwood floors or they have brand new cabinets. But in your rehab, you're going to use laminate floors and you're going to paint the cabinets. Where the appraiser may not give you full value, because your finishes aren't the same. Your finishes aren't the same quality. So it's important to look at the houses that are selling in the area because the lender wants to make sure that this scope of work that you're giving them that is actually gonna meet what you say this house will be worth.
So you went back because we was past scope of work.
It was on that other page. It was right here.
Mm-hmm. One of the negatives to hard money is it's expensive. And you're going to pay fees, you're going to pay interest only payments, you're going to pay doc prep payments, you're going to pay appraisal fees. Like you're going to have to pay some money.
You got to pay them.
Right? You're going to have to pay some money. So get that through your head. It's going to cost you some money to do a deal. Now, where that money comes from is a different story. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you what we do so that we don't got to bring that money to the table.
Absolutely. All right. So I see T said you're speaking to her, coach. DNT said I am an investor. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely. All right. So hard money lenders will lend on any of these products: fix and flip loans, bridge loans, which are your temporary loans right after a fix and flip, rental loans up to 30 years, multifamily, new construction, like literally anything you need as an investor, they have a product for.
This training is sponsored by Pepsi.
It is not. And Publix water purified, baby. No, for real, it's not sponsored by any of those people. But if they would like to sponsor, we are open to.
So look, can I ask a question?
Yes.
On our next one, can you put in a corner sponsor ready for you? Go, girl.
All right, so let's talk about some qualifications, and this goes into those documents that they are asking for before you start your process. All right, they're gonna have their application. All right, they're gonna want your photo ID. Some may want to see a copy of your social security card just to make sure you are who you say you are. All right. They want your entity documents. Those entity documents are your operating agreement. All right. It is your articles of organization. It's your articles of organization. They're going to want to know your 2-month bank statements. They're going to want to see your 2-month bank statements. All right.
Pro tip. All right. They are going to ask questions if you got $200 in this account and then you go put $10,000 in this account. They're going to ask you where the money comes from.
Where did it come from?
All right.
And they may even ask you to show them proof that it came from where it came from.
But this is the pro tip. If you know you're getting ready to do a deal and you are doing what I told you to do and start thinking and start saying, I'm an investor, a part of being an investor and doing what investors do is making sure your bank account is right. So if you got to deposit some money from an unknown source,
from another investor,
from wherever it comes from, if it's what this is, March, if you're trying to close in March, deposit the money in January so that when you get your February statement and your March statement, that money was already in the account. And it's not a deposit, it just shows the balance at the end.
Yes.
So don't wait till the month you're trying to do a deal to say, I'm going to put this chunk of money in and then go to this hard money.
And they're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? Slow your roll.
They don't ask questions. Yeah. But if you get ready to do a deal, go take that money, put it into account now.
And let it season.
And let it season for a few months, and then you can go. Some lenders only want a month. Some might want 2.
And some even want 3. So you want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to be able to get into that deal. All right.
The ones who want 3, I'm fool with them.
I'm not fooling with you today. You are
we talk about all this. Man, I had that bread pudding today, and that was my cheat. I'm on one.
I see.
All
right.
Catch up.
Schedule of real estate on. Schedule of real estate on. What is schedule of real estate on? That they just want to list of the properties that you need to purchase, or you have flip, you are renting. They just want to see what your portfolio look like. What does your Rolodex look like? If it's empty, then guess what? You don't have to do it. It's nothing to put on it. All right. Don't go make up anything. Don't go lie. Just leave it the way it is. All right. They want to make sure you have insurance. They want to make sure that that insurance covers what they are lending. So evidence of insurance is important. And then just making sure that you have these things, and now you're ready to start that process.
Yep.
Once those things are in place.
I am an investor.
I am an investor. I am an investor. Do it months ahead. Absolutely, Miss Parker. Absolutely. All right. So
What do I do, Ashley? If I found the deal,
mhm,
but I didn't put the money in months ahead, what would you recommend me doing?
find a partner, and maybe that partner has it.
Why you just said that so simple? Just
Find a partner. Find a partner.
all right.
That partner may have it already in the bank, and you guys can do that deal together.
Okay.
Real estate is not meant to be done alone, y'all. It's,
right.
it's better with partners. All right. It's done better done with the community and people that you can talk to.
All right.
All right. Let's talk about this, Sonia.
So where we're going to start is with the ARV. All right. So the ARV on this property is $180,000. And for those who missed it, ARV means after repair value. That means how much the house is going to sell for once it's fixed up, or estimated amount. All right. So what most lenders do, most lenders max that they'll lend on this property is 70% of the ARV. So if the ARV is 180 and I times it by 70%, that's 126,000. That's the most they'll give me for the purchase and the rehab of the property. All right. I'm not going to gloss over this. Yes, hard money will give you the money to buy the property. Yes, hard money will give you the money to fix the property.
Right.
Don't do what the Denmarks did on their first hard money loan. We only got the money to buy it, and we had to fund the rehab ourselves. Poor mindset. Don't do that. If you're going to borrow the money,
borrow all
of the money.
Yeah.
All right. So the total damn lend is 126. So for this deal, the purchase price was 74,000, and the rehab was 35,000. They good lending me all of this money because it's under 70%. All right. So that's where we're gonna start.
All right. So let's go to the next.
My loan would have been 109,000. All right. So my interest rate on this loan will be 12%. All right. And that 12% is an interest only payment.
All right. So what that means is at the end of your loan, at the end when you're getting ready to sell it, you got it on the market, it's ready to sell. Although you may have made payments of $1,000 for the last 6 months, listen, your loan amount is still, your payout is still going to be $109,000 because that's what they lend you. None of that interest goes to the loan amount. All right, all of it is interest only. So it behooves you to hurry up and move quickly, as quick as you can, to be able to get up out of that loan because none of it is paying down that principal.
All right, this is over beginner level what I'm going to say. And this is like for more experienced people, more people that can think at a higher level, that like numbers. All right.
I need you to break it down and make it simple.
I ain't said it yet.
It sounds too complicated.
When the lender says 12%, it really doesn't mean 12%. It means that if you hold this property for a year, you're going to pay 12% interest. But let's say you only have the loan for 6 months. Your interest was only 6% on the loan. So don't get caught up in these percentages because it's based off a year. And most times you don't have the property for a year. So you're truly not paying 12%. You're truly paying however long you have the property. All right. I'm gonna go one more time. You got something to say?
I was trying to see if there was a way that I could.
It's not the time to experiment, okay?
That I could do something, but
not the time to experiment.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
All right. So they got rehab holdback. All right. So when you borrow the money to buy it,
before you go to rehab holdback, did everybody understand the percentages that Antonio just said? Because
I
we
mean,
need to break that down real quick.
you ain't got that type of time.
So look, 109,000 times 12%, and if you divide that by 12, if you divide it by, well, it's 1% basically a month. All right, at 12%, you're basically paying 1% a month. So if you hold it for 6 months, that's 6%. You hold it for 3 months, that's 3%. All right. If you hold it for 9 months, that's 9%.
So what I used to do before I knew better, all right, I used to try to back out of the deal. I would say
Back reverse engineered.
I would say I got a loan for 109,000, and if I times that by 12%, that's 13,000. I thought that I was going to pay $13,000 regardless
No
of
matter what.
if I had the property for 2 months, 8 months, or a year. But that's not how it works. You only pay for the months you have the money.
All right. Y'all got that? Was that easier to understand? So, goodness gracious, they're gonna charge me 12%. It's the interest on the loan.
They're gonna charge me 30. And what I used to think, y'all. So this is how I used to think. I used to say, if the deal only gonna net me $25,000, and I gotta pay, let's say 30,000, I gotta pay them 13,000 plus their points plus their fees. They gonna make 20,000. I'm gonna make 10,000. That's how I used to think, but that's not true.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to go through that rehab holdback.
All right. So a rehab holdback is they're not going to give you the rehab money up front. All right. What they're going to do is they're going to put the rehab money into escrow. All right. And as you complete the things that's on that scope of work you gave them in the beginning, they will reimburse you.
So yes, they are going to fund the 35,000 of your scope of work, your rehab that you have on paper. But again, you got to have some skin in the game. All right. They're not just going to give you 35,000 and you run off and not come back. They're going to reimburse you. So if you did 7,000 worth of work, then don't ask them for 15,000 from your scope of work. It's in line for a reason. So every line item costs. If you didn't do the entire, if you didn't paint the entire interior, don't ask for the entire interior money because they're not going to give it back. They're going to give it to you in increments of your completion. All right.
You got origination fees. All right. Origination points. I'm going to tell you how you calculate that. All right. That is 1% of the loan amount. All right. So 1 point equals 1% of the loan amount. Now, that is the amount you do pay up front. Mm-hmm. So in this situation, if I'm paying 3 points on $109,000, how much am I paying?
So we're going to take $109,000 and we're going to times that by 3. And that is going to give us $3,270.
I am paying that regardless.
You paying that up front at closing.
If I have the property for a month or if I have the property for 10 months, that number's not changing compared to your interest payment per month. All right. They're going to have some fees. Just get ready to pay it. This was $2,500 in loan fees, doc fees, prep fees. Man, just fees.
Yeah, these are the fees that help them make money. This is
how they make money.
Pay for their employees, their staff that are processing, underwriting, their referral fees. This is all of that wrapped in one.
Before you go any farther, let me say this.
Okay.
The thing about money is you got to understand how it works, okay? We think that real estate investing is the be all end all. It's not, y'all. Real estate investing is a vehicle, okay? Yes, it's a vehicle. Real estate investing is a vehicle to build wealth, but it's also a vehicle to build cash. And what you do with that cash is you become the bank and you lend the money out. All right. So I don't get too deep into it, but understand that don't get caught up in just real estate. In order to grow wealth, in order to change your mindset, you got to understand how money works.
All right.
All right, this is a recent deal. The purchase price was 120. The rehab holdback was 85,000. They paid 6,100 in origination fees. They had an admin fee of 1,000. They had a recording fee of 1,600. They had prepaid interest of 1,700. They had insurance for a year at 1,300. So the ARV on this property was $300,000. All right. So in order to get into the deal, they had to bring $11,570 to close. And that covered these fees that you see on the screen.
Right.
All right. This is not including their monthly payment.
No.
This was a prorated amount of the monthly payment, but you still got to make your monthly payment.
Yeah, and this is not including what they need to start the rehab. This is only what they brought to the table. All right.
We got to skip that, but that is too small.
That's actually the one we just did before that.
Okay.
Yeah, we just answered that. All right. So we told you guys to wait to the end. The end is basically how we fund it without using any of our own money. So one of our dynamic funding ways for doing deals without using our own money is we combine hard money, which is what we talked about, and we add business funding to it, and that allows us to be into a deal without using our savings, without using any of our own money, but being able to use that combination together to get 100% financing, and that allows us to have infinite when it comes to return because none of our money is invested in it. And it allows us to do it over and over and over again while building up our portfolio, while building up our funds all at the same time.
All right. So I'm going to paint a picture for you. Okay. So just because I got business fund, let's say I got 100,000 in business fund, doesn't mean I'm going to go buy a property for 50, put 30 into it and flip it.
And use only business
funding. That's not how we see money. That's not the best use of business funding.
Yeah, that's not the best use.
All right. The best use of business funding is if you go back to that deal, that $11,000. All right. So the hard money lender is going to say, hey, I need you to bring $11,500 to the closing. I also need you to have about $10,000 in the bank to make your interest payments and start your loan. So let's just say I need you to have about $20,000. All right. Mm-hmm. What changed for us, and this is a game changer. This is, I can't even put words on it, is we would take the $20,000 from business funding, mm-hmm. put it into our account. Mm-hmm. So earlier when I was saying that you got to put some money into an account from an unknown source, the unknown source could have been business funding.
It could be your credit card, your business credit card, your business line of credit, any of those business sources.
We're going to take those funds, put them into our personal account or put it into the LLC that we are funding the deal with. And then when the hard money lender asks us to show our accounts, we're going to show that account with the $20,000 from business funding. Mm-hmm. And then when they say, Mr. Denmark, I need you to send $11,500 to closing, I'm going to send them $11,500 from that account I put the business funds in. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to use the rest of the money to start the rehab and make the payments.
Now I'm totally into this deal without any of my own money, and I'm able to continue to do this deal. Now, what happens if I go over budget and I don't have any, I've depleted the funds that's in my account and I don't have any? At that point, you can either use more business funding to finish it, or you can use your personal, but it feels so much better if you're not touching on that personal as soon as you walk in, because now that's your cushion, that's your safety net if anything happens.
So hypothetically speaking, let's say that, man, I've been saving to do the investment property. I saved $25,000. Even if you have saved $25,000 and you got enough cash to do the deal, don't use it.
Don't use it.
Get the business funding, use the business funding. And if worst case scenario, you got to use your 25,000 that you saved, now you use it.
Yeah.
But if I sell that property, and let's just hypothetically say I paid a hard money lender 15, 20,000. But if I sell the property and I make 20,000, who cares?
Who cares?
Who freaking cares? If they make 15 and I make 20, and I never put my 25,000 at risk.
That's a win, win, win.
That's a life changer. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
That is a generational curse breaker.
And imagine how many of those can you do? Can you do 4 a year? Absolutely. Can you do 8 a year? Absolutely.
If you just make $20,000 a deal, because remember now, we got 100,000 over here in business funding. Even if you get 50,000 in business funding, and you just doing one property a quarter. If you did 2 properties in a year, what side hustle giving you $40,000, $60,000, $80,000? That's a side hustle.
None.
You just doing 2 properties. And don't rush to get to it. Take your time. Learn the process. You're gonna make some mistakes. But if you just keep building on it and building on it, you will look up in 3, 4 years and you like, damn, I done
accumulated this much.
I done did 10 flips. Damn, I done made an extra $200,000-$300,000 on the side hustle.
On the side hustle. Absolutely.
Game changer.
Ms. Parker said, I recall y'all mentioning gap lenders before. Would this apply? Yes. Yes. It will definitely apply.
Yep. So you can.
There's so many ways you can structure a deal.
Yes.
This is
one of the ways.
This is just one
it's
of the ways.
One of them, y'all. Like, this is just one of the ways we do deals without using our own money. Let that sink in.
All right. Y'all drop y'all questions in the chat. If you got any questions, drop your questions in the chat.
If you just joined the birthday shout out, let me know in the chat too.
Absolutely. If you join the birthday wait list, make sure you say it in the chat. But also, if you haven't, Antonio is having a 40th birthday party. It's going to be virtual. You must sign up on the wait list, which is the www.thedenmarksbday.com. Join the wait list in order to attend. Tonio wants to give away some freebies. We're going to be giving away. Someone's going to win our mentorship. There's a bunch of cool things that Tonio has in store for his birthday.
All right, so let me kind of put it into perspective.
Okay.
Right? I am the oldest child. All right, I got a little brother and I got a little sister. And I guess they ain't little no.
They're not little.
I got a younger brother and a younger sister. So as the oldest, I was always giving. I was always caring. I was always the one making sure they were straight. So that's how I was raised. Mm-hmm. I was never the one that was looking forward to somebody giving me anything. Like, I was not raised to take handouts. I didn't like asking my mama for money when I was in college. So I'm just built that way. But it's my 40th birthday. And the way that we made a compromise in this situation was I've created an atmosphere to where I'm able to give away things to people that need it. I'm able to bless somebody. Like, it's not about me. It's about me being able to help people. So this is why we pushing the birthday so hard. Is because I want to bless as many people as I can. Like, you don't understand how powerful it is to say, man, I bless 100 people on my birthday. It ain't about what I get. I blessed 100 people on my birthday. That's what I'm going for. That's the vision that I have in my head. And yes, it's my birthday and they want to celebrate me, but at the same time, I want to give away stuff. And my friends want to give away stuff.
That's real.
Like, I done call all my friends, was like, hey, what you got? I got to give something else away. Rowdy's giving away a rehab manual. The Grahams are giving away a multi-family package. Who else I got? Actually, Real Estate Diddy is giving away something.
It's not in this room. Alex Pardo is giving
away something for buying stores.
Sean Young is giving away something. Like, all of our
I done call some heavy hitters to give away stuff on my birthday.
Absolutely. So make sure that you sign up for the waiting list. make sure you have to be in attendance to win. Okay, we got some cash
It's virtual.
prizes. It's virtual, but if we do the raffle and you can't show your face, then it goes to the next person. All right, total transparency. We want to celebrate with you, but we ain't gonna just give it to you.
You gotta be there at
You
least.
gotta be there at least. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited. I'm super excited about it. To my students, and they like, what do I get? You guys get a year of mentorship. So that's one of the things that you're going to be able to win. It's a year of mentorship to all of our students.
So people that are already in the X-Flipper Academy program.
Absolutely.
I had to find a way to give y'all something too. So if you are in the program already, there's going to be a chance for you to get a year of group mentorship for free. Mm-hmm. All right. Make sure you come to my birthday, man. Celebrate with me.
All right. So quick shout out.
I got a DJ coming.
Quick shout out before we leave. Shout out to Brandy. She joined. Brandy C. Grace.
Thank you.
Keisha, Kevin.
Oh, you gotta take some last name. I know last name.
Yolanda, Tamiria, Aaron, Ashley.
Bro, you gotta say last name.
Those are the people who joined since the last time I said it. Wait, I just got a new lead. George Foster.
Let's go, George. Make sure Katina come too. I want to see her too.
Adriana.
For all my couples, I ain't accepting just one of y'all.
Y'all.
I need to see both of y'all.
Come celebrate. Come have some fun with us. I'm excited. Obviously, Antonia is super geek right now.
Y'all.
So come on, Big 40. Let's do it.
And it's going down this Saturday, y'all.
This Saturday, 5 p.m. Central or March 8th. All right.
Let's go.
Love y'all.
Peace.